At a nature reserve 28 miles north of where Georgia Williams went missing, police are searching one of a number of sites in a wide-ranging inquiry across England, Wales and Scotland about a vehicle driven by the suspect.
I'd like to concentrate the public's mind, please, on a vehicle, which is the vehicle I have to my left here. It's the Hiace van CX06 ASV. The last time we identified that vehicle was at 5 o'clock in Wrexham.
Georgia Williams was born on 7 September 1995 in Shropshire, England. She was described as a caring, bubbly, and an intelligent individual who had a tight-knit home life. She lived at home with her father, Stephen, her mother, Lynette, and her older sister, Scarlett. Georgia was a bright student and head girl at her school. She was a cadet in the training corps and hoped to one day become a Royal Air Force paramedic. She was outdoorsy and loved being active. She was a popular 17-year-old who was adored by many and went straight into getting a part-time job as soon as she was old enough. She managed to get a part-time job at a local petrol station, and it didn't take her long to make some friends with her colleagues. Amongst the group was Jamie Reynolds, a 23-year-old who was in her older sister's year at school. Georgia's family had met Jamie on a few occasions at the petrol station and described him as a polite and quiet person. Jamie began to like Georgia and made his feelings known. However, Georgia didn't feel the same and rejected his advances. This didn't deter Jamie, and he continued spending time with her and remained respectful. Due to Georgia being a caring person, she made sure Jamie was included in motives and continued to spend time with him. This was due to her knowing what it was like being bullied as a young girl and knew what it was like being an outcast. She would never want anyone to feel the way she did in that period of her life. Jamie was a full-time worker at the petrol station, and as the pair was quite close, he discussed his real passion was to become a photographer. Georgia encouraged him to follow his passions. He asked her if she would model for some photographs with the intent of him using it in his portfolio, which she agreed to. They made a plan. 26 May 2013. Around 7:30 p.m., Georgia left her family barbecue and headed out to meet Jamie and her friends. She told them she will be back later, and Jamie only lived a few minutes' walk away. A few hours later, there was no sign of Georgia. Her mother, Lynette, sent her a message asking how things were going and when she is expecting to come back home. She got a reply, saying she wasn't sure when she will be back, and the photo shoot was done, but she was spending some time with her friends. She also put her usual 3 kisses at the end of the text. Around 6 a.m. the next day, she went to check up on her daughter and was worried that her bed was untouched. She sent her a text. A few hours later, she received a reply saying she had lost track of time and her battery was dying. This was not her normal behavior, as she never made anyone worry about her or forget to let her family know where she was. Georgia was due to attend a music festival and had her first driving lesson booked. Her parents knew if she was to miss these, it was a massive sign something was wrong. Tuesday morning. Almost 2 days later, no one had heard from her, causing her parents to panic. They began to call around to her friends to see if she had stayed at theirs or have heard from her, but no one had. Disturbingly, her phone was going straight to voicemail. Georgia's boyfriend, Matthew, made a desperate appeal, creating a post on Facebook, and word spread quickly that she was missing. Not long after, her parents went to the police with the only information they had was she left to go to Jamie Reynolds that evening. Police did a quick background check on Jamie, which made them extremely concerned. When Jamie was 17, he was given a final warning after attempting to strangle a 16-year-old girl, who he lured by pretending to need help with a project on youth offending. His parents had told the mental health services that he had some issues, as he was obsessed with violent pornography and disturbing films showing grapes and choking, which led to him having visits from the mental health team from time to time. Concerningly, they said they had found pictures of girls in school uniform, where he had drawn over them and put nooses around their necks. The teams determined that he posed a substantial risk. However, police took no further action. 2011. Jamie Reynolds was put on the police radar again after he rammed into a colleague's car deliberately because she rejected him romantically. but due to no previous checks being done at the time, no links were made with his previous case. Through the use of CCTV and ANPR cameras, Jamie and his van were spotted around 300 miles away in Glasgow, Scotland. There was no sign of Georgia Williams. He was seen changing clothes next to his van in Shropshire. Scotland police took him in for questioning. He maintained his innocence and said he knew nothing about her disappearance. But with his history, police were not satisfied. They brought him back to Shropshire for further questioning. He continued to deny all allegations. Early next morning, before 6 a.m., officers arrived at Georgia's family home. The parents said they knew their bubbly daughter was no longer alive. The police did a thorough search through Jamie's house and found horrific content. They found a memory card which someone had clearly tried to wipe clean, but were unsuccessful. What happened to Georgia Williams began to come clear. Disturbing images showed Georgia had been forced onto a box and she had a noose around her neck. Jamie kicked the box and hung her. Images of her like this were taken of her all over the house. He then proceeded to grape the dead body, which he took images of. It was so horrific, even senior officers were extremely shocked and disturbed. With this amount of evidence, he was quickly charged, but he refused to tell them where the body was. Police began to formulate a timeline of events, calculating Jamie's movements in the days after Georgia's disappearance. CCTV played a vital role. Jamie was spotted filling up his van with fuel a day after Georgia went missing. At this moment, Georgia was already dead, and her body was in the back of the van. He drove to Wrexham in Wales, where he stopped and went to the cinema. He watched one of the Fast and Furious films, which he was trying to persuade Georgia to go watch with him. With Jamie already in custody, the police asked for public help on information on the vehicle driven by the suspect. A few people had got in contact, mentioning they had helped him on the side of the road when the van got stuck. This helped police massively in locating the body. 31st May, 2013. 5 days after Georgia went missing, they found the body of Georgia Williams, barely hidden and unclothed in a woodland area near Wrexham. 2nd December 2013. Stafford Crown Court. Georgia's father said he saw Jamie laughing and showed no remorse when entering the courtroom. Jamie Reynolds plead guilty to murder. 19th December 2013. Jamie Reynolds became one of the youngest in British criminal history to be sentenced to a whole life term in prison. Although Jamie Reynolds' solicitor had issued a statement in January 2014, stating he would not be appealing against the life term. Fast forward to July 2014. The Court of Appeal confirmed he had in fact lodged an appeal against the life sentence, reportedly on the grounds that his age and guilty plea were not given sufficient weight. The memory of Georgia Williams was honored, and the community managed to raise £2,000 for a memorial bench. Her family started the Georgia Williams Trust, a charity which helps young people pursue their passions with the aid of grants and partnerships.